Well, welcome back, underdogs, misfits, and other little lunatics, to Brothers Grimm. But we're gonna have a quick little intermission break here. Yeah, we are. So it truly is. Sorry, my throat's dry. The furnace is going. I got the winter dryness. So excuse me. My voice is a little hoarse. Well, anyway, we're gonna take a quick little intermission break here. I got Charlie. I love my Charlie. Charlie the spider. Wow. Charlie let me in on a little secret I didn't know about today. That's all right. Charlie had the option to be on a necklace, Jade, because that pin kept coming undone and it was pissing me off. So, Charlie's on a chain now. See? Little Charlie. And for the people who didn't see the video about Charlie, I'm going to read it again, reintroduce him. Well, anyways, so Charlie has kind of taken precedence over Moon Man. Now, that's my moon, right? My crescent moon. And I've had that for a while, but I wear that on my neck. That's what shines really nice. That emerald green color, kind of like from the movie Monster Squad. Well, anyways, I tried to put them on together. It was too cluttered. It was like one looks really good by itself, or the other one looks really good by itself, but together it's just too much. It's like the Mr. T of the crystals. You guys remember Mr. T from the 80s? He had all the chains. Well, I can't have a bunch of crystals hanging off my neck, but they mean something to me. So, anyway, so I got my moon. Now, why do I call it Moon Man? Okay. I call it Moon Man because I always say music can heal people. But the one singer who absolutely healed me the most was Mr. Beautiful Chris Cornell. His music heals me. Yeah. It just seems like it's been so long, you know, where I know each song what emotion it's going to bring up. And, he was my escape. Like, during the hardest times, I could pick a song from Soundgarden or from Audio Slave or his Euphoria Morning album or Higher Truth album. And I just knew exactly what song was going to hit what emotion. And then it helped surface it and deal with it. So he was always the best music doctor I ever had. He was like a music surgeon for me. And it's just hard when you take musicians for granted. You really do. You just assume they're always going to be there. But I never took him for granted. His music I always cherished. It's just, you always think that you're going to get a new dose of something. And then it's like the medication runs out. But you have like a supply of the old stuff, but your soul therapy needs new medication. So you keep going back to the old stuff, but it kind of brings you back to the past. And when you have all these emotions attached to the past, then sometimes I find I don't listen to his music as much because there's so much energy invested in all of his music. But when it's not snowing and it's nice out, Jake and I take walks from midnight till like 3 in the morning. We'll go on 12-kilometer walks because our dog's antisocial. So we kind of had to go when no other dogs are around, or she's just a headache and we can't enjoy it. A lot of long, boring story short, we call her the vampire dog. And we only take her out in the middle of the night. But anyway, so Jake and I decide our moon walks, as we call them, on we base um whatever trail we decide to take, kind of not trail but route that we've created, depending on the moon cycle. So when it comes to the full moon, we have this certain walk we take, and it just is like for 3 hours, the full moon is just so bright and the energy's there. And I always look up, and Jake and I have amazing conversations during our full moon walk. Well, when we first started taking these full moon walks, um, my whole music mix was Chris Cornell. So, and Jake, like Jake and I would just have our music and we go for walks. So my mix was all, Chris Cornell. And then, and I would connect with that. But I called him my moon man because of my moon walks and listening to him on my moon walks. So that's carrying him along the way with me. Like just the lessons I've learned from him, and just, if I could see him and say anything to him, it'd be, you have no clue how much you've helped me in life. That would be what I would say. If I had one moment to talk to him, I would say, you have absolutely no clue how much you became my personal healer for like 30 years. And how much I appreciate the artistry he brought to the world. He was one of a kind. You can't replace him with some artificial intelligence or computer. He was Chris fucking Cornell. Fuck. Anyway, so I'm explaining that. And then another thing I have sitting here. This is like a $200 crystal from Germany. This is a big one. It was awesome. The energy on this crystal. I love this crystal. This is a great crystal. It's, I can't remember. It's engraved by, like, I invest in certain things. Where's the name on it? Oh, shit. I found it with my magnifying glass. Well, anyways. So this was 200 and something bucks. Oh, there it is. What does it say there? Oh, shit. I don't have my glasses on. Rosenthal, maybe? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. Right there. I don't know. It's engraved right there. Anyway. So, this is how I say I recharge myself. I'm going to explain what I do. Now, this is where I miss the warm weather, because I go to the park and I take this, and my hands are extended out, right? But my one arm is kind of bent like this, like an Egyptian pose, flat. And I have the crystal on it, but I have my legs in a star spread. My arms like that, and this other arm, it goes down like this, right? So what I do, and I go right from dawn, and I do this as the sun is just beginning to set, and I'll do it the whole sunset. So I hold my hand out like this is a form of sun healing, is sun gazing. And I hold my arm up like that, and then I have this other one down towards the earth, and you can feel the crystal energized from the sun, right? But then this hand becomes the healing hand. So if you have aches and pains, I'll sit there and you can feel it really start to charge. And then I'll take this hand. If I have a headache, I'll put it on my head. If I have a neck ache, I'll put it on my neck. And it works. Well, I find it works for me. So I was just looking at that thinking I can't wait till summer. But that's my healing crystal, my sun gazing, my sun healing crystal. So if you're somewhere that you don't have snow and you have lots of sun, invest in a good crystal. I mean, a real crystal, not a crop one. A nice big one that fits in your palm like that, right? And do exactly what I told you to do. Put your arm up like a little Egyptian, flatten it out, let it gather that energy from the sun. Take this arm, put it down, and then down towards the earth. And you'll feel your arm get heavy. Like you'll literally feel it. You will, trust me. That's when this is activated because your whole, the more clear your chakra system is, the more it just kind of goes. Blah, blah, blah. Well, anyways, and then this hand becomes your little healing hand. So I just wanted to introduce you to some free stuff that's pretty damn cool. So anyways, I wasn't planning on having that little 11-minute intermission, but I was sitting here and, I put Charlie on a chain and then Moon Man on my wrist. And then I was looking at my crystal and I thought, well, maybe I'll just open up a little bit about me. I don't do that a whole lot anymore. Lesson learned. But anyway, let's see if we can shine on Charlie. If he can show his colors. He's cool, man. Charlie's pretty cool. But he needs light. There. Maybe that'll work. Shine, Charlie, shine. Okay, there. I want Charlie to shine. Shine, baby, shine. Alright, so let's talk about Charlie for a second here. To those of you who didn't hear me introduce Charlie yesterday. Alright. The symbolism of Charlie. And this is actually the symbolism of spiders, but I'm going to say Charlie. Alright. Now I mean business. I got the mic in my hand. Charlie. Charlie is the center of creation, fate, patience, and interconnection, reflecting his web-weaving ability, seen as artistry, and destroys threads. Cultures viewed Charlie as a creator, a trickster, or a guide to manifestation and balance, connecting past, present, and future. Kind of like Chris Cornell songs, but it's just past, present. Anyway, so sad. I just wish there was like a reserve tank of his music somewhere. Anyway, Charlie's meaning varies from good luck, Chinese happiness, Charlie spiders, to potential danger, venomous when you piss him off. Dark side. Charlie's dark side is venomous, but generally emphasizes creativity, destiny, and life's complex patterns. Wow. Keys: creation and manifestation. Charlie weaves intricate worlds, symbolizing to bring his dreams into reality and personal artistry. Fate and destiny. Charlie weaves life's threads connecting past and future and associated with goddesses like Neith. Patience and persistence. Well, Charlie waits in his webs and he reflects quiet focus and discipline. That's what he's doing in his web. Balance. Charlie balances spiritual, physical, and past and future, self and others. How good Charlie is. Charlie. Well, anyways, tricksters in shadow. Ikitomi in Lakota lore, a trickster figure. Charlie is a trickster figure in Lakota lore. And he can represent the darker aspects of the psyche in Wannian thought, like Jungian, like Carl Jung. Yeah, Jung. People pronounce it potato, right? Tomato. Anyway, good luck. In China, Charlie is a descending spider, and he's a happiness spider, and he signifies good fortune. Cultural examples. In Greek mythology, Arachne is a weaver turned into a spider named Charlie of Athena for Hebrews. Native American. Charlie's grandmother's spider, Ikitomi, is a creator, a trickster, and a weaver of life. Inspiration for dream catchers, she was. Well, in ancient Egypt, goddess Neith is the spinner and the weaver of the world. In Buddhism, Charlie symbolizes attachment, suffering, or the spiritual weaving of reality. Well, anyways, the spiritual meaning when Charlie appears, or any other spider. 1. Assigned to weave your own destiny or take charge. 2. A reminder to focus on your creative goals. And 3. A symbol of interconnectedness or a message from the universe. Charlie. So, Charlie has entered my world of storytelling. Charlie, he likes to shine his colors sometimes. He's pretty. Well, anyways, put that right up away. We're going to have some water, and then we're going to get into it. Shoot. I wouldn't mind bringing this forward just a little bit. Let's see what I can jack up here. I'm pretty good at thinking of things last minute, so let's see how good I am today. All right. It's a thick book, right? We got a lot of short stories, let me tell you. Ooh. No, that's not gonna work. Damn it. Okay. Well, let's get into it. Okay. I think that'll work. I love Charlie. Okay, let's go. So, per video, we're doing 3 short stories. They are the Brothers Grimm. I believe these were written in like 1830 something. They're pretty old. They're bizarre. They're a little odd. I haven't read this book, but I've had it for like 30 something years. So I figured it was time. What the hell? Why are you... all of a sudden this feels loose. Anyway. The Good Bargain. There was once a peasant who had driven his cow to the fair and sold her for $7. It is dollars, Talers. I'm not saying dollars, I'm saying dollars, just so you know. Let's try that again. There was once a peasant who had driven his cow to the fair and sold her for $7. On the way home, he had to pass a pond, and already from afar he heard the frogs crying, "Ache, ache, ache, ache." "Well," said he to himself, "they are talking without rhyme or reason. It is 7 that I have received, not 8. When he got to the water, he cried to them, "Stupid animals that you are, Don't you know better than that? It is $7, not 8. The frogs, however, stuck to their ache, 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 ache. Come then, if you won't believe me, I can count it out to you. And he took his money out of his pocket and counted out the $7, always reckoning 4 or 20 groschen to a taler. The frogs, however, paid no attention to his reckoning, but still cried, ache, 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 ache. Like A-I-K, not 8. Anyways, what? Cried the peasant, quite angry. If you know better than I, count it yourselves, and threw all the money at them into the water. He stood and wanted to wait until they were through and had returned to him with his, but the frogs maintained their opinion and cried continually, ache, 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 ache. And besides that, did not throw the money out again. He still waited a long while until evening came on, and he was forced to go home. I can't believe the next line. Then he abused the frogs and cried, you water splashers, you thickheads, you googly eyes, you have great mouths and can screech till you hurt one's ears, but you cannot count $7. Do you think I'm going to stand here till you get through? And with that he went away, but the frog still cried, ache, 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 after him, till he went home sorely vexed. After a while he bought another cow, which he slaughtered, and he made the calculation that if he sold the meat, well, he might gain as much as the 2 cows were worth, and have the hide into the bargain. When therefore he got to the town with the meat, a great pack of dogs were gathered together in front of the gate, with a large greyhound at the head of them, which jumped at the meat, sniffed at it, and barked, wow, wow, wow. And there was no stopping him. The peasant said to him, yes, yes, I know quite well that you are saying wow, 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 because you want some of the meat, but I should be in a fine state if I were to give it to you. The dog, however, answered nothing but wow, wow. Will you promise not to devour it all then? And will you go bail for your companions? Wow, 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 said the dog. Well, if you insist on it, I will leave it for you. I must have my money in 3 days, or else it will go ill with you. Can you just bring it out to me? Thereupon he unloaded the meat and turned back again. The dogs fell upon it and loudly barked, wow, wow. The countryman, who heard them from afar, said to himself, hark, now they all want some, but the big one is responsible to me for it. When 3 days had passed, the countryman thought, tonight my money will be in my pocket, and was quite delighted, but no one would come and pay it. There is no trusting anyone now, said he. And at last he lost patience and went into the town to the butcher and demanded his money. The butcher thought it was a joke, but the peasant said, jesting apart, I will have my money. Did not the big dog bring you the whole of the slaughtered cow 3 days ago? Then the butcher grew angry, snatched a broom, stick, and drove him out. Wait, said the peasant, there is still some justice in the world, and went out to the royal palace and begged for another audience. He was led before the king, who sat there with his daughter, and asked him what injury he had suffered. "A lie," said he. "The frogs and the dogs have taken from me what is mine, and the butcher has paid me for it with the stick." And he related at full length what had happened. Thereupon the king's daughter began to laugh heartily, and the king said to him, "I cannot give you justice in this, but you shall have my daughter to wife for it. In her whole life she has never yet laughed as she has yet done at you, and I have promised her to him who can make her laugh. You may thank God for your good fortune." "Oh," answered the peasant, "I do not want her at all." "I have a wife already, and she is one too many for me. When I go home, it is just as if I had a wife standing in every corner." Then the king grew angry and said, "You are a boor." "Ah, Lord King," replied the peasant, "what can you expect from an ox but beef?" "Stop," answered the king. "You shall have another reward. Be off now, but come back in 3 days, and then you shall have 500 counted all in full." When the peasant went out by the gate, the sentry said, "You have made the king's daughter laugh, so you will certainly receive something good." "Yes, that is what I think," answered the peasant. 500 are to be counted out to me. Listen," said the soldier, "give me some of it. What can you do with all that money?" "As it is you," said the peasant, "you shall have 200. Present yourself in 3 days' time before the king, and let it be paid to you." A Jew who was standing by and had heard the conversation ran after the peasant, held him by the coat, and said, "O wonder of God, what a child of fortune you are! I will change it for you. I will change it for you into small coins. What do you want with the great dollars?" "Jew," said the countryman, 300 can you still have? Give it to me at once in coin. In 3 days from this, you will be paid for it by the king." The Jew was delighted with the small profit, and brought the sum in bad groschen, 3 of which were worth 2 good ones. After 3 days had passed, according to the king's command, the peasant went before the king. "Pull his coat off," said the latter, "and he shall have his 500. "Ah," said the peasant, "they no longer belong to me. I presented 200 of them to the sentry, and 300 the Jew has changed for me, so by right nothing at all belongs to me." In the meantime, the soldier and the Jew entered and claimed what they had gained from the peasant, and they received the blows strictly counted out. The soldier bore it patiently and knew already how it tasted. But the Jew said sorrowfully, "A lie, a lie. Are these the heavy dollars?" The king could not help laughing at the peasant, and when all of his anger was spent, he said, "As you have already lost your reward before it fell to your lot, I will give you your compensation. Go into my treasure chamber and get some money for yourself, as much as you will." Nice. The peasant did not need to be told twice, and stuffed into his big pockets whatsoever would go in. Afterwards he went to an inn and counted out his money. The Jew had crept after him and heard how he muttered to himself, "The rogue of a king has cheated me after all. Why could he not have given me the money himself, and then I should have known what I had? How can I tell now if what I have had the luck to put in my pocket is right or not?" "Good heavens," said the Jew to himself, "that man is speaking disrespectfully of our lord the king. I will run and inform, and then I shall get a reward, and he will be punished as well." Well, when the king heard of the peasant's words, he fell into a passion and commanded the Jew to go and bring the offender to him. The Jew ran to the peasant. "You are to go at once to the Lord King in the very clothes you have on." "I know what's right better than that," answered the peasant. "I shall have a new coat made first." "Do you think that a man with so much money in his pocket should go there in his ragged old coat?" The Jew, as he saw that the peasant would not stir without another coat, and as he feared that if the king's anger cooled, he himself would lose his reward, and the peasant his punishment, said, "I will go out of pure friendship, lend you a coat for the short time. What will people do? What will people not do for love?" The peasant was contented with this, put the Jew's coat on, and went off with him. The king reproached the countryman because of the evil speaking of which the Jew had informed him. "Ah," said the peasant, "what a Jew says is always false. No true word ever comes out of his mouth. The rascal there is capable of maintaining that I have his coat on." "What is that?" shrieked the Jew. "Is the coat not mine? Have I not lent it to you out of pure friendship, in order that you might appear before the Lord King?" When the king heard that, he said, "The Jew has assuredly deceived one or the other of us, either myself or the peasant." And again he ordered something to be counted out to him in hard thalers. The peasant, however, went home in the good coat, with the good money in his pocket, and said to himself, "This time I have done it." All right. That was kind of cute. Okay, so we're going into story number 2. It's called "The Strange Musician." "Moon man, come together with you and save me." I need some water. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. Get in my zone. The Strange Musician. There was once a wonderful musician who went quite forlorn through a forest and thought of all manner of things. And when nothing was left for him to think about, he said to himself, "Time is beginning to pass heavily with me here in the forest. I will fetch hither a good companion for myself." Then he took his fiddle from his back and played so that it echoed through the trees. It was not long before a wolf came trotting through the thicket towards him. "Ah, here's a wolf coming. I have no desire for him," said the musician. But the wolf came nearer and said to him, "Ah, dear musician, how beautifully you play. I should like to learn that too." "It is soon learnt," the musician replied. "You have only to do all that I bid you." "Oh, musician," said the wolf. I will obey you as a scholar obeys his master. Ooh la la. Sounds like a 50 Shades of something. The musician bade his fellow. The musician bade his follow, and when they had gone part of the way together, they came to an old oak tree which was hollow inside and cleft in the middle. Look, said the musician, if you will learn to fiddle, put your forepaws into this crevice. The wolf obeyed, but the musician quickly picked up a stone and with one blow wedged his two paws so fast that he was forced to stay there like a prisoner. What an asshole musician. Don't treat nature like that. You fucking prick. Anyway. Wait there until I come back again, said the asshole musician. I'm going to add a little extra. And went his way. After a while, he again said to himself, time is beginning to pass heavily with me here in the forest. I will fetch hither another companion, and took his fiddle and again played in the forest. It was not long before a fox came creeping through the trees towards him. Ah, there's a fox coming, said the musician. I have no desire for him. The fox came up to him and said, oh, dear musician, how beautifully you play. I should like to learn that too. This is soon learnt, said the musician. You have only to do everything that I bid you. Oh, musician. Then said the fox, I will obey you as a scholar obeys his master. Follow me, said the musician. And when they had walked away a part of the way, they came to a footpath and high bushes on both sides of it. There the musician stood still, and from one side bent a young hazel bush down to the ground, and put his foot on the end of it. Then he bent down a young tree from the other side and said, now, little fox, if you will learn something, give me your left front paw. The fox obeyed, and the musician fastened his paw to the left bough. Little fox, said he, now reach me your right paw, and he tied it to the right bough. When he had examined whether the knots were firm enough, he let go, and the bushes sprang up again and jerked up the little fox so that it hung struggling in the air. What a fucking dick. Wait there till I come back again, said the asshole musician, and went on his way. Again he said to himself, time is beginning to pass heavily with me here in the forest. I will fetch hither another companion. Sounds like a psychopath. So he took his fiddle, and the sound echoed through the forest. Then a little hare came springing towards him. Ah, a hare is coming, said the musician. I do not want him. Ah, dear musician, said the hare, how beautifully you fiddle. I too shall like to learn that. That is soon learnt, said the musician. You have only to do everything that I bid you. Oh, musician, cried the little hare, I will obey you as a scholar obeys his master. They went a part of the way together until they came to an open space in the forest, where stood an aspen tree. The musician tied a long string around the little hare's neck. This guy's psychotic, what an asshole. The other end of which he fastened to the tree. Now briskly, little hare, run 20 times round the tree. Oh my God, cried the psychotic musician. And the little hare obeyed. And when it had run around 20 times, it had twisted the string 20 times around the trunk of the tree. And the little hare was caught. Oh shit. And let it pull and tug as it liked. It only made the string cut into the tender neck. Aw, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Take your fiddle and shove it where the sun don't shine. Anyway, wait there till I come back, said the musician, and went onwards. Fucking dick. The wolf, in the meantime, had pushed and pulled and bitten at the stone, and had worked so long that he had set his feet at liberty and had drawn them once more out of the cleft. Full of anger and rage, he hurried after the asshole musician and wanted to tear him to pieces. When the fox saw him running, he began to lament and cried with all his might, "Brother Wolf, come to my help! The musician has betrayed me." The wolf drew down the little tree, bit the cord in two, and freed the fox, who went with him to take revenge on the asshole musician. They found the tied-up hare, whom likewise they rescued, and then they all sought the enemy together. I would say, revenge of Mother Nature, eh? Yeah. Revenge of the Animal Kingdom. Ooh. The asshole musician had once more played his fiddle as he went on his way, and this time he had been more fortunate. The sound reached the ears of a poor woodcutter, who instantly, whether he would or no, gave up his work and came with his hatchet under his arm to listen to the music. "At last comes the right companion," said the musician, "for I was seeking a human being and no wild beast." And he began and played so beautifully and delightfully that the poor man stood there as if bewitched, and his heart leaped with gladness. And he thus stood, the wolf, the fox, and the hare came up, and he saw well that they had some evil design. So he raised the glistening axe and placed himself before the musician, as if to say, "Whoso wishes to touch him, let him beware, for he will have to deal with me." Then the beasts were terrified and ran back into the forest. The musician, however, played once more to the man out of gratitude, and then went onwards. That's the end of that one. Alright, so the last story of this video, because we're coming up on our third story, is the 12 Brothers. Let's get into it. I need some water. I need some water first. Okay. Let's do this. The 12 Brothers. There were once upon a time a king and a queen who lived happily together and had 12 children. Fuck. But they were all boys. They said to the king, to his wife, "If the 13th child which you are about to bring into this world is a girl, the 12 boys shall die, in order that her possessions may be great and that the kingdom may fall to her alone." He even caused 12 coffins to be made, which were already filled with shavings, and each lay the little death pillow, and he had them taken into a locked up room, and then he gave the queen the key of it, and bade her not to speak of this to anyone. He's like manifesting his 12 sons' deaths already. Coffin ready with the pillow ready to go. Okay. Anyway, the mother, however, now sat and lamented all day long, until the youngest son, who was always with her, and whom she had named Benjamin from the Bible, said to her, "Dear mother, why are you so sad?" "Dearest child," she answered, "I may not tell you." But he let her have no rest until she went and locked the room, and showed him the 12 coffins ready filled with shavings. Then she said, "My dearest Benjamin, your father has had these coffins made for you and your 11 brothers. So if I bring a little girl into the world, you are all to be killed and buried in them." And as she wept while she was saying this, the son comforted her and said, "Weep not, dear mother. We will save ourselves and go hence." But she said, "Go forth into the forest with your 11 brothers, and let one sit constantly on the highest tree which can be found, and keep watch, looking towards the tower here in the castle. If I give birth to a little son, I will put up a white flag, and then you may venture to come back. But if I bear a daughter, I will hoist a red flag," and saving her kids. Smart. "And then fly hence as quickly as you are able, and may the good God protect you. And every night I will rise up and pray for you in winter, that you may be able to warm yourself at the fire, and in summer that you may not faint away in the heat." After she had blessed her sons, therefore, they went forth into the forest. They each kept watch in turn, and sat on the highest oak, and looked towards the tower. When 11 days had passed, and the turn came to Benjamin, he saw that a flag was being raised. It was, however, not the white but the blood-red flag, which announced that they were all to die. When the brothers heard that, they were very angry and said, "Are we all suffered to death for the sake of a girl? We swear that we will avenge ourselves wheresoever we find a girl. Her red blood shall flow." Oh my God. Thereupon they went deeper into the forest, and in the midst of it, where it was the darkest, they found a little bewitched hut, which was standing empty. Then said they, "Here we will dwell, and you, Benjamin, you are the youngest and weakest. You shall stay at home and keep house. We others will go out and fetch food." Then they went into the forest and shot hares, wild deer, birds, and pigeons, and whatsoever there was to eat. This they took to Benjamin, who had to dress it for them in order that they might appease their hunger. They lived together 10 years in the little hut, and the time did not appear long to them. The little daughter which their mother, the queen, had given birth to was now grown up. She was good of heart and fair of face, and had a golden star on her forehead. Once, on a great washing, she saw 12 men's shirts among the things, and asked her mother, "To whom do these 12 shirts belong? For they are far too small for father." Then the queen answered with a heavy heart, "Dear child, these belong to your 12 brothers." Said the maiden, "Where are my 12 brothers?" "I have never yet heard of them," she replied. "God knows where they are. They are wandering about the world." Ah. Then she took the maiden and opened the chamber for her, and showed her the 12 coffins with the shavings and the death pillows. "These coffins," said she, "were destined for your brothers, who went away secretly before you were born." And she related to her now everything had happened, and said to the maiden, "Dear mother, weep not. I will go and seek my brothers." So she took the 12 shirts and went forth and straight into the great forest. She walked the whole day, and in the evening she came to the bewitched hut. Then she entered it and found a young boy, who asked, "From whence do you come? And whither are you bound?" And was astonished that she was so beautiful, and wore royal garments, and had a star on her forehead. And she answered, "I am a king's daughter, and I am seeking my 12 brothers, and I will walk as far as the sky is blue until I find them." and she showed him the 12 shirts which belonged to them. Then Benjamin saw that she was his sister and said, I am Benjamin, your youngest brother. And she began to weep for joy, and Benjamin wept also. And they kissed and embraced each other with the greatest love. But after this he said, Dear sister, there is still one difficulty. We have agreed that every maiden whom we meet shall die, because we have been obliged to leave our kingdom on account of a girl. Then she said, I will willingly die if by doing so I can save my 12 brothers. No, answered he, you shall not die. Seat yourself beneath this tub until our 11 brothers come, and then I will soon come to an agreement with them. So did she did so, and when it was night, the others came from hunting, and their dinner was ready. And as they were sitting at table and eating, they asked, What news is there? Said Benjamin, Don't you know anything? No, they answered. He continued, You have been in the forest, and I have stayed at home, and yet I know more than you do. Tell us, then, they cried. He answered, But promise me that the first maiden who meets us shall not be killed. Yes, they all cried, She shall have mercy, only do tell us. Then said he, Our sister is here. And he lifted up the tub, and the king's daughter came forth in her royal garments, with a golden star on her forehead. She was beautiful, delicate, and fair. Then they all rejoiced, and fell on her neck, and kissed and loved her with all their hearts. Now, she stayed at home with Benjamin and helped him with the work. The 11 went into the forest and caught game, and deer and birds and wood pigeons, that they might have food. And the little sister and Benjamin took care to make it ready for them. She sought for the wood for cooking and herbs for vegetables, and put the pans on the fire so that the dinner was always ready when the 11 came. She likewise kept order in the little house, and put beautifully white, clean coverings on the little beds. And the brothers were always contented and lived in great harmony with her. Once upon a time, the two at home had prepared a wonderful feast. And when they were all together, they sat down and ate and drank and were full of gladness. There was, however, a little garden belonging to the bewitched house, wherein stood 12 lily flowers, which are likewise called student lilies. She wished to give her brothers pleasure, and plucked the 12 flowers, and thought she would present each brother with one while at dinner. But at the self-same moment that she plucked the flowers, the 12 brothers were changed into 12 ravens, and flew away over the forest, and the house and garden vanished likewise. And now the poor maiden was alone in the wild forest, and when she looked around, an old lady was standing near her, who said, My child, what have you done? Why did you not leave the 12 white flowers growing? They were your brothers, who are now forevermore changed into ravens. The maiden said, weeping, Is there no way of saving them? No, said the woman, there is but one in the whole world, and that is so hard that you will not save them by it, for you must be dumb for 7 years, and not speak or laugh. And if you speak one single word, and only an hour of the 7 years is wanting, all is in vain, and your brothers will be killed by the one word. Then said the maiden in her heart, I know with certainty that I shall set my brothers free, and went and sought a high tree, and seated herself in it, and spun, and neither spoke nor laughed. Now, it so happened that a king was hunting in the forest who had a great greyhound which ran to the tree on which the maiden was sitting and sprang about it, whining and barking at her. Then the king came by and saw the beautiful king's daughter with the golden star on her brow, and was so charmed with her beauty that he called to ask her if she would be his wife. Wow, that was quick. She made no answer, but nodded a little with her head. Okay. So he climbed up the tree himself, carried her down, placed her on his horse, and bore her home. Then the wedding was solemnized with great magnificence and rejoicing, but the bride neither spoke nor smiled. When they had lived happily together for a few years, the king's mother, who was a wicked woman, began to slander the young queen, and said to the king, "This is a common beggar girl whom you have brought back with you. Who knows what wicked tricks she practices secretly? Even if she be dumb and not able to speak, she might laugh for once. But those who do not laugh have bad consciences." At first the king would not believe it, but the old woman urged this so long and accused her of so many evil things that at last the king let himself be persuaded and sentenced her to death. And now a great fire was lighted in the courtyard in which she was to be burnt, and the king stood above at the window and looked on with tearful eyes, because he still loved her so much. And when she bound fast to the stake, and the fire was licking at her clothes with its red tongue, the last instant of the 7 years expired. Then a whirling sound was heard in the air, and 12 ravens came flying towards the place and sank downwards. And when they touched the earth, they were her 12 brothers whom she had saved. Karma, right? Cause and effect. She's reaping what she sowed. They came back to save her now. Nice. Anyway, they tore the fire asunder, extinguished the flames, set their dear sister free, and kissed and embraced her. And now, as she dared to open her mouth and speak, she told the king why she had been dumb and had never laughed. The king rejoiced when he heard that she was innocent, and they all lived in great unity until their death. The wicked stepmother was taken before the judge and put into a barrel filled with boiling oil and venomous snakes, and died an evil death like she deserved. I added like she deserved it. Anyway, Underdogs, Misfits, and Other Little Lunatics. This is actually fun to read. I can just visualize all of it. It's bizarre. I love it. So I'm going to rest my vocal cords for about an hour. And then, whatever, I'll come back and read another 3 stories. Because this is so entertaining. Alright. I love you. I'll be back. Stick with me. Expand your mind. You gotta get those creative juices going and connect with your inner child. That's the secret to a happy life. Living in the moment and connecting with your inner child, and then you're playing. Yeah, and then you're manifesting. Because when you're a kid, you don't worry. Like when you're a little kid and you play make-believe, that's manifestation. So you gotta get back into that. You gotta play make-believe and let your imagination go wild. Wild! Anyway, I love you. I'll be back. Bye.